We talk to the Better Days 2020 campaign, and so we're coming up on the 100th anniversary of the 19th Amendment, which allowed women's suffrage. And so they wanted to highlight how Utah was an important crossroads for American history and the civil rights as far as letting women vote. And so a lot of Utahns, me included, were unaware that Utah was a hubbub for a lot of these women's rights activists. Some notable firsts that Utah had: Martha Hughes Cannon, she was the first female senator, and then Seraph Young was the first woman to vote in an official U.S. election. So it was really interesting to learn about and to get a timeline of events and learn how Utah was an important part of that process. I'll admit I had never really researched the topic, so it was good to broaden my horizon and learn something that I probably wouldn't have looked up on my own. So, Seraph Young had a quote about the process. She called it diamond scratching diamonds in reference to how hard it was to get it through. And so I admire the strength and the resilience it took to push that through, especially through the national stage as well as Utah's own legislature. And I'd like to emulate that in my personal endeavors.
So the play was a story of a girl and her mother who tried to commit suicide, and it really just showed like the effects of it throughout her life. And even though she wasn't the one taking the action, it still like reflected on her, and it ended up causing some pretty serious things for her in the future. As we know, the suicide rates in Utah are like skyrocketing, and I think they showed this particular play because I feel like if they showed it through a Friends version, that would almost like make the act look heroic to show how much people missed the person. But since they showed it through the child, it showed the actions as more of a painful situation, which is really what it is. And it's not heroic, and it's sad, and it's something that has to be fixed. It's not something to get attention. It shouldn't be something to get attention. It shouldn't be a thing at all.
Now, up until that day, my only experience of death was that of my dog, Sherlock Bones. Thank you. Sherlock Bones was older than me, and he was a central part of my existence. Now, he was really sick, and so a vet came around to put him down. And actually, I'm gonna ask you to be my vet. Is that okay? You just have an immediate veterinary quality. We're just gonna have you stand right here. Let's hear for our vet. So good, very good, right there, yes. All right, now does anyone have a jacket or a coat that I could borrow real quick? I just up in the air a jacket. Yeah, if you got a jacket for me, perfect. Off his back. What a gentleman. Ladies, okay. Now, does anyone have a pen or a pencil that I could borrow just real quick? Up in the air, anyone got one? Right here, perfect. Good, very prepared, thank you. All right, I got a little bit of a magic trick, so I want you to just hold this carefully, just like that. Now that's the needle. And inside that needle is an anesthetic called pentobarbital. Now that dose is large enough to make the dog unconscious, then depress his brain, his respiratory, and his circulatory systems, and put him to sleep forever. Thank you. Now if you just stroke his little head. Thank you. Now can someone with a watch or a timer volunteer to tell me when 30 seconds has passed by the raise of hand? Anyone have a timer on them? Over there, if you'll shout out at 30 seconds, starting now. I held Sherlock Bones, who I had known my entire life. I held him as he died, and I thought about the walk we had taken that morning and the smell of him in my room, his toys all over the garden, his recently opened packet of dry food, and his bed under the stairs, all things that could just now be thrown away. And he became lighter or heavier, I'm not sure, just different. Thank you. And that was my experience of death. A loved one becoming an object and being taken away from me forever.
Well, I'm a theater kid, and so I really liked to see a performance, especially with the Utah Shakespeare Festival, because they're very well-trained actors and they do well in portraying stories, and this was a very wonderful message. I loved about it the most is that it involved everybody around in the entire room, that we were all able to engage, and we all kind of were able to each individually pull something from it that compares to ourselves.
I proposed. Yes, I did. I got down on one knee. Thank you. The whole thing, it was amazing. It was beautiful. I loved it. Sam, do you just want to show them? Yeah. Sam, do you want to just show them what it was? I think they'd love to see. Do you guys want to see us? Yeah, you want to see it? Yeah, let's hear it. We'll come back here, and we'll do it back here. Because you remember how it goes. I took your arm. It was perfect. We were walking in a park near my parents' house. It was raining. I was telling Sam this is where I used to walk Sherlock Bones as a kid. Yeah, he kept walking and must have thought I stopped to tie my shoe because when he turned around, I was on one knee. I took his hands in mine, and I said, will you marry me? And he said,
Yes.
yes, he said yes! Woo! Very good. Let's kiss later. Okay, thank you. Yes, good job. The father of the bride. You stand up 1 second, hold on. Coming for you. Say what's in your heart, Dad.
I'm super proud of of my daughter and her awesome husband. I'm glad to have Sam as a part of the family. And yeah, it's gonna be an awesome ceremony.
Thank you. I remember every word.
No, yeah, and it really did like make the audience feel it. And it showed that the voices were in her head, it wasn't just her. And it made a feeling of community, how like we're all, like they said, like we're all in this together and not one person can solve it. And it's our job to keep ourselves mentally healthy and to reach out to those who might be struggling.